Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, despite what my shirt might say. And this is my quick reaction to the Power Rangers movie. I literally just got home from seeing the movie. It is almost midnight Friday. I saw it on Thursday night. The movie theater was actually about an hour and a half away, so it was about 3 hours round trip. The question you all have on your mind is, was it worth it? This is my quick reaction to the Power Rangers movie. This will not be my full-out review. I'm going to do that later. What I'm going to do is pick like a matinee time a little later on, where the theater is quieter and I'm able to take some notes. Yes, in the dark. We'll see if I can read them when I get home. And just give you guys the kind of detailed analysis that I like to give you guys. This is just quick initial reactions, things right off the top of my head to let you know if you should go and see it. And that's the question of the hour, isn't it? So let's go ahead and get that settled, kind of spoil the ending. Do I recommend that you, subscribers to my channel, fans of the Power Rangers, go see the Power Rangers movie? Absolutely. I loved this movie. It was really good. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It is not a perfect film. It has some issues, some pretty big issues, but none of them are deal breakers. This is a great movie. I really love the cast. I will echo what a lot of people said, and that R.J. Cyler, who plays Billy, the Blue Ranger, steals almost every scene that he's in. He did a really fantastic job portraying somebody. I don't think this is really a spoiler. It's been mentioned. Portraying somebody with autism. He's on the spectrum. He just does a really great job of conveying that, and he's really the heart of the film. He was my second favorite person in this movie. I'll get to my first in just a second, but the core cast of Rangers all did a really good job. I really enjoyed all of their performances. I have some issues with how some of them were written, which is something I'll get into in my review, but for the most part, they all did at least a serviceable job, but I think they were all pretty good and were excellent choices. I really liked Elizabeth Banks' Rita Repulsa. She has this wavering kind of personality, which is good for a psychopath. Sometimes she's over-the-top campy, and I mean, gee whiz, a villainess in a superhero movie is campy. Who would have possibly thought? But sometimes she's disturbingly evil. There are portions of this movie that feel like a PG-13 horror film or suspense film. It gets kind of dark. I enjoy the tone of the movie. I'll get to that in a second. But I enjoyed the tone of this movie. Elizabeth Banks was great. It can feel like two performances sometimes, but I think she balances it very well, and it makes sense, like I said, for a psychopathic character. Bill Hader's Alpha 5, I was good with. There were some moments that he made me laugh. He was basically what Alpha is supposed to be in a Power Rangers story. He's there, he serves an important part, but he's never really the focus central of the story. There was 1 or 2 episodes, I think, of the show that kind of focused on Alpha, but mainly, you know, he's there because Zordon doesn't have arms and legs, and, you know, he needs to help, and he provides some comic relief, which he does in this case. And if you've been listening by now, you probably figured out my favorite part of this movie, since I've mentioned the Rangers, and I've mentioned Rita, and I have mentioned Alpha 5. That's right, my favorite part was Goldar. Gotcha! Goldar, you see things in the trailers and you form reactions to them already, and the trailers really don't mislead you in any way. Goldar is exactly what he looks like in the trailers. So that was kind of a disappointment for me, but it wasn't a huge deal. With everything that they got right, you know, Goldar wasn't a big deal to me to get wrong. No, as you probably figured out, my favorite part of this film was Zordon, played by Bryan Cranston. I absolutely adored Zordon in this film because it was such a different take on him, and one that I felt was a lot more realistic. Zordon in the show was just very plainly wise sage and extremely patient with the teenagers. That's not the case here. I don't want to give away too much of the plot. There are no spoilers in this review, by the way, if you were worried about that to this point. This is a non-spoilers review. I'll do spoilers in my more detailed review. But just, he has a very different attitude from the word go about these teenagers playing the Power Rangers. And I just loved his personality and the way he performs. He was the star of the film to me, and I just really enjoyed everything about him. I will say that the movie does kind of feel like two films. The first half of the movie is your classic superhero origin story. I mean, really, in both aspects. The first half of the movie is your basic superhero origin story, getting to know the characters, getting to know who these people are and why we should care about them. I will say, though, that the film does a good job. It's well written in terms of making us care about them. You know, each of them kind of has a quirk or an idiosyncrasy or a thing in their life that makes them kind of a misfit or an outcast. And there are points in the film where the movie is very clearly telling you to care about them. The thing is, you do. At least I did. So that was written well in terms of getting to know those characters well enough that we actually care about them. Then, of course, the other half of the movie comes right after they actually become the Power Rangers, and we get an episode of Power Rangers on the big screen. The Power Ranger stuff is handled very well. The suits have grown on me, and the story does establish well enough why the suits don't look like dinosaurs. It doesn't talk about why some of the dinosaurs don't look like dinosaurs, but that's another thing. It does explain why the Zords do look like they do in terms of being dinosaurs, by the way. You get your fight with the putties, you get, the fight with Rita, and then it gets big, and, take it to the Zords and the Megazord, of course. The Megazord I've already seen, so, I'm not 100% fond of the look, but I also understand they wanted to change the look of the Zords, and if you're going to change the look of the Zords, you're changing the look of the Megazord. So that's something that's going to happen. I don't know how well the look of the original Megazord would have been. As cool as it might have been to see that on the big screen, I can understand them making a change. Wasn't a problem, totally worked for me. So overall, yeah, it felt like two different films, but the putting them together, they worked well. They did mesh together. There were two distinct portions, but I was thinking about it, and episodes of Power Rangers can feel that way. The teens are living their regular lives, and then something happens, and then they morph, and they do Power Ranger stuff. And then at the end, there's a little bit of their regular lives again, as there is in this film. So that's probably just kind of a Power Rangers thing, but it is something that I noticed. I will say the first part of the film, it wasn't dragging. It was almost actually the opposite. I was wondering how much more there could be to go, because it seemed like they got so much in at the beginning. So there's that. My one major problem with this film, you've probably seen some of it already, is that there is one heavy bit of product placement. This movie basically has a sponsor, and it is so heavily ingrained into the film that it is actually a plot point. I'm not going to spoil what that is, but it's a plot point. So I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I was kind of going back and forth with my friends about it, in a way that's kind of good because it's less blatant if it's actually matters to the story. On the other hand, it gets name dropped a whole bunch and it feels kind of cheap, for lack of a better term. But I have to acknowledge that it did help the film get made, so, there's that. Without that deal, maybe we don't get this movie. So, who knows? But overall, like I said, I would definitely, if you like Power Rangers or Toku in general, I would recommend that you go see this film and go see it in theaters. There are some things, we've been over them, that make people not even want to go see the movie. Various kind of issues. Some recent headlines that I won't address directly because I consider them a spoiler, but I will confirm are the case and say that it's not that big a deal in the movie, so just, if that's something that bothers you, just try to overlook it because it's really not all that important to the story. But nonetheless, I thought it was really fantastic. I was kind of resisting the urge to do this because I just wanted to give you a yes-no. And my opinion may change when I review it in more detail, but at the moment, if I were scoring it, I would give the movie a score of 4 out of 5. I thought it was really good. It's a really good origin story for the Power Rangers, which, like I said, we've never had on the big screen before. The suits are good, the Zords are good, the story is well written and makes a lot of sense. even include the inclusion of things like the Zeo Crystal, which I don't really consider that a spoiler because it's been out there everywhere, and even the film's official marketing, the Alpha 5 chatbot, for example, mention it, so it is just a part of the film. The Zeo Crystal is a part of this film. I will say it's not what you think, and you'll find out what it is when you go see this movie, because I want you to go see this movie opening weekend in theaters. Like, if anything you've seen in the trailers and the marketing makes you feel like you don't want to see this movie, you want to boycott it or whatever, I would seriously just say what I said before. See the film in theaters, provide financial support to it, get it past that threshold where they're going to make a second movie, and then complain about it on the internet, because you always have that ability. You know what, I'm not going to complain about you on the TV, because I'm telling them not to complain about things on the internet. You'll just finish this review with me. Go see it in theaters and then complain and talk about the things that you want to see changed in a sequel. But provide enough financial support to this movie. It's not going to need much. It only has a $105 million budget. With the international gross, I think it's going to hit what it needs to get a sequel. But go see the movie in theaters, provide your financial support to it, and then talk about the things that you liked and you didn't like I'm going to. I'm going to do a review, and I'm going to talk about the negative aspects of the movie as well as the positive. Anyway, it is now officially after midnight, so I need to go ahead and wrap this up so I can get this video imported, do a tiny bit of editing to it, and then get it right out to you. This is the closest thing to a YouTube Live that I can do on this house's internet connection. So thank you guys so much, as always, for watching. Again, just to assure you, I will be doing a full review of this film sometime in the next couple of weeks, I would say. Make sure to like the video by clicking the like button right down below. Let me know what you thought of the Power Rangers movie if you have seen it in the comments below. And if you haven't seen the film yet, let me know what you're most excited about and what you're most concerned about. And maybe I can start a little bit of conversation and helping to assuage some of your fears and confirm some of your excitements. Make sure to subscribe so you see when my other videos are coming out. I do have my other regular videos filmed, by the way. Editing just depends on when I'm available as far as work goes, but I'm doing my best to get them out. I have gone ahead and filmed the Shawnees, and I'm going to get those out. And I have my review of episodes 7 and 8 Ninja Steel filmed. I'm going to get that out to you guys. And I actually filmed a separate video to do an announcement of this year's hiatus video schedule. So I'm going to get those all out to you guys as time permits. Promise you they will be there, but Power Rangers the movie on the big screen, yes, no, from the Orange Ranger, that obviously took priority, and I decided to make this quick video. And so also make sure you see when those videos come out by clicking that bell icon so you're notified whenever I post new videos. Thank you one more time so much for watching. From me and my reviewing assistant Squeak, I will say to remember that together we are more.